Thanks for joining us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, as always, coming to you from our beautiful studios. And I always appreciate this young man. When he takes time to visit us, it's always worthwhile. Andrei Iosivas is a second-year player out of Princeton. Princeton, that's right. Very intelligent, very football intelligent. And boy, this kid, 6'3", well over 200 pounds, has got unbelievable strength, speed. He can separate. His route running has improved dramatically. His year one to year two growth and improvement is very special. I think he's going to have a really good year. And he talks about how hard he worked in the offseason, getting himself ready for this opportunity. And like all the receivers for the Cincinnati Bengals, this guy can line up anywhere. You know, he's going to be a factor in the slot. He's going to be a factor outside. He talks about his other teammates at the wide receiver position and their position versatility. He talks about going against defensive backs and some of the new ones that are having outstanding camps as well. Andrei Iosivas is a worthwhile visit. You're going to enjoy it. What a great call you made today to join us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. As always, we are emanating from our brand new studios. We love this place. We love First Star Logistics. They are so good to us. And so is this guest, Andrei Iosivas. He is the man. And there's been training camp buzz for the Cincinnati Bengals in general. But boy, there's been a lot of buzz about what you are doing at training camp. Yosi, what do you think? I mean, are you as pleased with your performance as everybody else is?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like when I see the good plays, I rewatch them a couple times. But then, like, you don't see some of the reps where I could have won more, or where I felt like it wasn't perfect. And even though sometimes I'll have good days, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like I hold myself to such a high standard. Sometimes, like, I'm not even happy, like, coming off the field if I know I didn't win every rep that I could have won. So, but like for the most part, I'm on a good trajectory for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's competitive. Secondary and defensive backs are a lot of really good athletes. The athleticism, the speed, and watching you guys battle for every single football every single day. I mean, it's something special. It really is.
Yeah, it's been a really like hard fought camp. It's been super competitive. It's good though, because like even though we're competitive, everybody knows that we're just trying to get better. So it's really competitive, but it's always just good vibes after practice.
Now I know you've got that heptathlete, body and mindset and everything. You are so strong physically. When I talk to not only the strength and conditioning coaches, but the coaches, other coaches, position coaches, and your teammates, that's the first thing they say. They say, man, Yossi is so strong, man. He is such a strong dude. I mean, has it always been that way? I mean, even before you started competing at that level, I mean, heptathlete, All-American at Princeton, it's pretty impressive. Have you always been a strong guy physically, though?
Not necessarily. I would say I started really lifting hard like my senior year of high school. I was always fast, but I was always kind of skinny, scrawny. Like I remember when I first hit my growth spurt, like my first true growth spurt, like my sophomore year of high school, I was like 6 foot, like 130 pounds or something like that. Like,
wow.
Like first varsity football practice in the summer, I just break my collarbone on contact. You know what I mean? Like I was that small. But yeah, I would say once I started really lifting heavy, like after my senior year of high school, and then maybe my sophomore year of college is when I really started to like put up good numbers. That's when I realized that I can be fast and strong. But this year, I feel like I'm really learning to use my body a lot more with the defenders and throw people by and just like not be shy about contact and being more patient throughout the route and stuff like that.
Yeah, you look bigger, faster, stronger, and it's like, okay, a lot of younger athletes watching, like, I don't want to necessarily put on too much weight because it'll affect my quickness and speed. I mean, Charlie Jones, yourself, Chase Brown. You guys are all the great examples of, man, you guys work so hard, in the weight room as well as, your movement skills. You guys look more explosive, more powerful, quicker to me. I mean, it certainly hasn't hindered your movement skills or your speed. You guys look quicker, faster, stronger. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's different ways of lifting. If you're just like squatting and benching every day, like of course it helps to be stronger and faster. But I feel like this off season, I really worked on a lot of single leg things like dumbbell stuff, a lot of just movements that I could really see translating to the field. And I think, especially focusing on like single leg movements, just made me a lot more explosive and powerful.
When I watched you three guys that I just mentioned too, I mean, in your situation, definitely, and Charlie, and Chase, you guys all are running extremely effective routes. I mean, your route running has gone even up a notch. What did you do in the off season to improve that aspect of your game?
Yeah, so this off season, I was working with this guy named Drew Lieberman.
Yeah,
he's he coaches a lot of NFL guys. He, helped Evan Ingram when he was struggling with the Giants and Slayton, and he used to work with Mohamed Sanu as well. And I remember I was looking for who I should train with in the summer or in the off season. There's a bunch of popular guys on Instagram and stuff. But then there's one video of him making Evan Ingram just hold a plank, saying, "How bad do you want it?" And then I said, that seems like a guy that I could take a shot on. So I did. And he's been one of the best decisions I've ever made. Yeah, I mean, just in terms of route running, confidence, hands, like he's really helped me a lot.
So is it what are the days like? Is it long? Are they long, arduous workouts? Is it is it more short spurts? Does it vary? What's a typical week look like when you guys are working together?
Yeah, so I would say before OTAs, we were going pretty hard. It would be I work with this lady also at a facility called DSA Training. Her name's Lily, and she's like a footwork speed specialist. So I would say we would do footwork. So we either have a sprint session or a footwork session in the morning, and then we have our lift. And then we always meet up with Drew in the afternoon at some point. And our days either consist of working on breaks or working on hip shifts. And so we'll do that on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So I basically have like 3 sessions of work for 4 days a week up until OTAs. And then after OTAs, it was more focused with Drew. I would go with Lily for stamina and speed, but Drew was all the footwork I was doing. And so, yeah, I mean, it was definitely a long off season, but it didn't feel very long just because I knew what the goal was for this year.
Well, it's paid dividends. I mean, it is extremely noticeable. There's no question about that. And like I said, from day one, it's like, man, you've been a guy. Mims has gotten a lot of buzz. You've gotten a lot of buzz. There are guys that people have definitely like, wow, that's you've been a star though, man. You've been one of the stars of training camp. You've lit it up. What about in the red zone with your physical attributes? I mean, is that where you think you can butter your bread, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, football is all about mismatches and matchups, and so I feel like if you have me, and I mean, T's obviously a big body. We have Gesicki now. Jamar is very savvy in the red zone, so it's just like just pick your poison at that point.
It is, and that's the thing. You talk about all the players that you just mentioned, and the coaches do such a great job of everybody learning not just one specific spot in the receiver position group, but all of them. And you guys are so interchangeable, and it's like, well, you can move people around without making any substitutions and go from 12 personnel to 10 personnel and try to get mismatches, and you have linebackers and safeties that you can do it with. I mean, there's a lot of creative things that I think the fans can look forward to with the guys you're talking about in the red zone and out in the field. I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things that as I look at the receiver group as a whole, tight ends, receivers, running backs, the whole thing. Just the versatility and the diversity of that group is extraordinary.
Yeah, it's super exciting just seeing, like, it's super interesting, as you get older, you really appreciate like the different skill sets that people have. And I think like the skill sets we have in the receiving room, the tight end room, and the running back room is just like it's like art. Like you just can't wait for it to be like on the canvas at some point during the game. So it'll be super exciting to watch.
So everybody's, talking about how Joe Burrow's throwing the football. You've been catching Joe Burrow passes now for this will be your second year. How does he look to you? How does his ball feel when you're receiving his football?
Yeah, I mean, it feels great. It's I would say usually on the money.
Yeah.
And then I mean, yesterday he was. I don't know that throw to Shed was that was a bomb. He was rolling to his right, and I don't even know how many yards in the air it was, but Shed. I wouldn't say Shed necessarily has to speed up for balls too often. He's a 4.2 guy,
Right?
But he had to run under that one for sure. So I was like, holy moly, that was almost like the one that he threw against the Texans to Jamar on that rollout. He bombed it. Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, like you said, air yards and the trajectory. I mean,
Yeah.
It was a moonshot. It was
Yeah.
like, my gosh, man, it looked like it came out of Cape Canaveral. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah, there's sometimes someone throws a ball and you almost are in awe like as soon as it comes out of his hand because you're like,
Right.
where is it gonna even go? Like you don't even know.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. He seems though to be throwing the ball. It's coming out of his hand well, it looks like, and he's throwing it where he wants to throw it. His accuracy has always been extraordinary, and it seems to be the case still.
Yeah, definitely. I mean that's something that he takes pride in, and I know he was trying to figure some things out, like how to spin it better with his wrist and all. I think he has figured something out though, because he's been slinging it like the past couple of days, so it's very exciting.
Yeah, yeah. So you mentioned Jamar. Obviously, Jamar's in a business scenario right now where contract situations going on, but he's out there and he's out there and he's interacting with his teammates.
Yeah.
What kind of things does Jamar say to you guys? Is it basically pointers, tips, things that he's figured out? Is it encouragement? Is it all the above? What's it like out there for him with his fellow teammates at receiver?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely him trying to take on more of like a big brother role, like a coaching roles. He'll give advice to everybody as they walk off the field. Like, if he's watching them, you can only watch so many positions at a time. But a lot of times when I'm on the field, we'll talk about the route or like what I could have done differently or how to set someone up or what if he's playing here, you could have done this. So it's a lot of back and forth about how to win. And he's one of the best in the game. So I think that everybody appreciates the input he has after every play.
You mentioned Shedrick Jackson with that 4.2 speed.
Yep.
Relative of Bo Jackson. So that makes sense. That he's got those kind of wheels.
Right.
I know you're very good friends with Charlie Jones, who's having a good camp himself. I mean, both you guys came back, even at another level. Was that kind of planned? Were you guys competing the whole off season? What was going on there?
Yeah, I think he was in Chicago during the time I was in Atlanta, but we were during OTAs. We would do some work off the field as well, like especially in the beginning periods. But we were both drafted for a reason, and I think the coaches saw something in both of us. So I mean, yeah, he's one of my best friends. So it's really cool to see us both having good camps, and hopefully we can just keep stacking and in the future just provide for this team in any way that we both can.
Jermaine Burton, a rookie in this year's class, he has some traits now. I mean, you check a lot of boxes with his skill set, don't you?
Yeah, he can run like the wind, and he has really good hands. Like he secures that ball. Like I don't know, I think every time he touches it, he catches it. So that's something, especially in the NFL, that you really, really like.
You mentioned Mike Gesicki at the tight end position, but he is very versatile. I mean, you can utilize him in a lot of different ways as well. But he's got that 6'6" height, long arms, big catch radius, and he's faster, deceptively. He runs faster than people think. And the other thing about him, you're the same way. You guys will look at the secondary and almost figure where guys are going to be. Not just pre-snap, they can line up and try to give you false reads and all that sort of thing. You guys, though, very patiently, it looks to me, figure things out and always seem to put yourself in the right place. He's very effective that way, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's played a lot of football, so he could probably read a defense in the snap of a finger as soon as the ball snaps. So, he's played a lot of football. You can tell when they're in a zone. He always sits in the right place, or he's trying to find the soft spot in the zone, even if it makes his route a little bit different. And so you can just tell how much football he's played when he's on the field.
Now, Jamar, not participating, so there are extra snaps there. T is being he's working some days, not working as much other days, so there are some snaps. Guys that there's opportunity. When opportunity knocks, when there are extra snaps available, it's time to step up and show what you can do. A lot of guys in that wide receiver group are doing that, aren't they?
Yeah, we have a really, really solid group. And it's great that we've seen what Jamar and T can do. They've been in the league for a while. And so it's really good for us, young guys and other guys to get reps now. Because you never know how limited your reps may be during the season. So these really competitive reps during camp can, translate it into a week 13 game if you're just thrown in there. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
Every rep matters, and it's better for us depth pieces just to get as many reps as we can.
Now, slot receiver position with Tyler Boyd moving on. There's snaps available there, and it could be by committee, it could be by one individual more than by committee, or whatever the case may be. That's to be determined. That's how it's going to depends on how it unfolds. But the very first workout, every rep you took in the slot, and you hadn't played a whole lot of slot. How was that day? How did that day unfold for you? And how do you like the slot receiver position?
It's fun. I mean, it's you just have to, I think, be more aware as a slot and kind of manipulate people a little bit more. But I think it's really fun. You can get the ball in like a lot more places out of the slot. I feel like you can create a lot of mismatches in there. So I don't know. I really, really enjoy being in the slot.
And we talked about how you guys all will line up in different places. I mean, it's going to be, you're going to line up at flank, you're going to line up at split end, you're going to line up in the slot, you're going to, you're going to motion, you're going to move, you're going to all that. Troy Walters does a great job with that, with teaching everybody. I'm sure the younger players, you can identify with the rookies last year. It's like, boy, that's a lot of information to take in, in a short period of time. But he seems to do it very, very effectively. And the thing I like about him is he's out there, like we talked about this before, he's out there working with you guys as a defensive back and showing you releases to take when, he'd be shading you this way or doing that or whatever the case may be. How fun is he to work with?
Yeah, he's really good. Last year was with me and Charlie. Our heads were spinning a bit. Every rookie kind of goes through that. So, and everybody knows that. But you just have to go through it. But he's always super enthusiastic, even in the meeting rooms. He's always asking dudes questions out of the blue, making sure you're on it and you're paying attention. He's really intricate on the details of the game. And especially when he's out on the practice field, I mean, he might as well like suit up and have cleats on at that point because he's running practice with us at the same time.
I know it is. He works hard out there physically. There's no doubt about it. All right, so give me your quick assessment. I know it hasn't been a whole lot of time on task, but you've gone through OTA's mini camp and now the early stages of training camp. You got the pads on and you're working against guys on the back end. Mm-hmm. How good is the Bengals secondary? How deep is the secondary? I mean, I look at it and it's like, boy, there's a lot of guys with speed and athleticism back there. I mean, there's a lot of talent back there on that end too.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. I get to go against a lot of them because I'm playing both in the slot and the outside. So
right.
It's been fun going against them. I mean, you have Dax and DJ who are they're both really fast. Dax is a bit more stout, I would say. Like he wants to jam you at the line. He's really strong, but DJ can run with you wherever you're on the field. And so they both bring something different to the table. And then, Cam just started practicing, but he's been doing well. I feel like him and T and I always have like really good matchups when we go against each other. And then, Mike Hilton, just like a savvy a savvy dude. He always is trying to predict what's coming next, and he's like usually right.
Yeah.
He's good. And then JD in the slot as well. I feel like him and Mike are similar. Just quick dudes who understand the game very well. And, obviously, I mean, Mike is one of the best run stoppers in the game. So it's fun going against all those guys. Yeah, all the time.
So now it starts. The preseason games start next week. You take on Tampa Bay, and then you go up to Chicago, and you have the workouts, the controlled environment workouts where you're going at each other pretty well during practice before the preseason game. You do that on the road up in Chicago, and then with the Colts for the Thursday night game, the final preseason game, you guys are doing that again with them at home. So how much are you looking forward to going against guys with different colored jerseys on?
It's fun. I mean, it's going to be fun. I think it should be. I mean, obviously going against the same guys, like you do want a taste of somebody else, but like I was doing a lot of one-on-ones in the, training at my facility back in Atlanta. So I've been going against guys from different teams. So it shouldn't be any different, but there's always a little bit of a different feeling when you're shooting against, I guess, like an enemy or like an opponent or something, like
Sure.
going to war a little bit.
Right. So how many guys, how many different corners were you working against as you're getting yourself ready in the off season? How many different guys did you line up against?
I couldn't even count it, to be honest.
Really?
Wow. I would say there's there's a DB coach there that has a lot of guys that come through, especially on our competitive days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, boy, I'll tell you that the training and everything is so much different, so much better. What about diet? How much have you changed your diet? I mean, your workouts are extraordinary. What's your diet like? Are you a guy that really is careful about what he puts in his body?
Not necessarily. I would say like I make sure I drink a protein shake every morning after every workout, and then right before I go to sleep. So I always make sure to get my protein in because I feel like that's the biggest thing I need. And then as long as I feel like I'm getting my calories in, I'm all right. But I mean, obviously I'm not eating like McDonald's every day. Like I'll have a cheat day every so often and stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't say like I'm tracking like my macros or like anything like that.
Right.
Just my protein shakes, that's the one thing I always get in for sure.
So how much bigger or how much has your body changed? You probably haven't grown height wise. You're still what, 6'3" plus?
Yeah, almost 6'4".
Yeah, closer to 6'4".
Mm-hmm.
How much has your body changed from when you first got drafted out of Princeton to now?
Yeah, I think I've put on maybe 7 pounds or something like that. So it's been good. But like I was saying earlier, the single leg stuff I was doing, a lot of the core stuff I was doing, I just feel so much more balanced and strong. And it's good weight I've packed on. So I just feel explosive, strong, and quick, and I'm fast. So it's just I've been very blessed with the training that I've had, and also with like the genes I've been received from my parents.
I'll tell you, boy, yeah, you're getting separation. And not only getting separation, when you get it, you're getting it with speed. It's like you get in a pretty high gear pretty darn quickly, man.
Thank you. Yeah, being a sprinter background does help with that a little bit. So, when I have kids, I know guys like to play football all year round, but they're running track. So in the spring, at least, yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you, the thing that impressed me about you is your ratio of touchdown catches to receptions. And you obviously were somebody that the Bengals, the coaching staff, and your quarterbacks said, yeah, gotta check this guy out, man. He's when we need to score, this is a guy that we need to get the football to. So you made a very big impression, very, very big favorable impression on everybody in the organization your rookie year, and you're tracking to have a tremendous second year. The old saying is, and I believe it, I kind of went through it, year one to year two. Now, you're a very intelligent guy, obviously, but do you think like year one to year two, it's going to be, oh my gosh, I mean, so many more things are obvious to me now. And it's like, well, not that I didn't know what I didn't know, but I just know so much more now.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely feel it when I'm on the field. I'm not panicking as much, especially like during training camp. I can just just be myself and be the athlete that I know that I am. I think that's a lot of the thing. Like in the NFL, it's such a mental game. It's such a a lot of guys have the physical traits to be good,
Yep.
but it's just about how can you slow the game down? How can you win with the skills that you have and knowing your strengths and your weaknesses and knowing the game. So I mean, obviously, like I didn't get a lot of playing time last year, but I still feel like the game is coming to me a lot. Like everything's slowing down a lot for me.
Right.
So
Right.
that's definitely the biggest upside right now.
I think the mental part of it is so important. And like you said, football IQ, you're not only very intelligent, you have high football IQ as well from an intelligence standpoint, but the mental part of it at this level, I mean, there's going to be some good reps, and then there's going to be other reps that might not be as good. And you have to learn to not only handle adversity, you have to handle success. Handling both properly is a big part of the mental aspect of the game, isn't it?
Definitely. And I think, I mean, that's why you can see a lot of successful people. Like, I wouldn't say they're miserable, but I feel like it's like I was saying earlier, like if I don't have like a perfect practice, I'll be like, like pissed about something about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's good to hold myself to a high standard. But yeah, that is true. You always have to learn in the moment at least to not take it to heart and just get on to the next play and just know that that you trust your abilities and in yourself, especially in the moment.
Well, we certainly do appreciate you carving time, because I know this is a very, very precious, valuable off day.
Yeah.
For you to join us is greatly appreciated, and I'm sure everybody tuning in and listening is equally appreciative. And go out and continue to have that great camp, man. Best to you. Looking forward to a great season for Andrei Iosivas, man, and it's going to be a big one for you.
Yep. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Have a great one.
Thanks.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realized self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.